Establishing Mega Brands 101. We've brought in a marketing expert from Novak, Nat Pat, to talk about it. Stay tuned on building brands and maintaining strong brands in not just property, but everything.
Good morning. Good morning. How wonderful it is this morning. How are you, Mark?
Top of the morning to you, Nat Pat.
Top of the morning, as the Irish would say.
I'm good. I think this morning, if you haven't got out of bed yet, for people out there, is probably the perfect morning ever. 11 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and amazing.
I think it's just going to be a great day. Wednesday, always a good day for property.
Do it.
Work weeks. Let's do it. If you think about it, Wednesday is the perfectly branded day of the week.
Why?
Well, because it's hump day. Well, if you think about it, every day of the week is branded. That's why, like, the song Friday I'm in Love, that's branded.
Yep.
Because yep.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about today, brands.
Brands. Bloody Monday.
Yeah, Monday. That's probably the weakest. Well, if you think about it, it's a strong brand of being bad, which it's doing well at.
It's pulling your socks up and signing up the belt day. I like that, the way you said that. It's they're all branded.
Everything's branded. I think it's one of my favorite marketing topics to talk about because it's so subliminal, but also at the same time so obvious.
And that subliminal thing is something to be very feared of. Before we get into what we're talking about, I've been watching a food show, and last night it was all about New Orleans, and they were cracking eggs on everything. And this morning I said to Lise, feel like an egg? She goes, that's so weird. I feel like an egg as well. And it's like subliminally, there's so much. I know there's that movie as well where they're running those numbers in the football game, and then the guy goes to the football game and chooses those numbers, and they're running those numbers on billboards as he drives past, on people's shirts as he walks past. That subliminal thing, oh my God, that is so powerful. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's like even when I was in a marketing lecture once, and our teacher was talking about a fridge that he wanted to get that had a touch screen on it. And during the lecture, I was a pretty bad student. I was going through Facebook in the lecture, and an ad popped up for the fridge, and I yelled out to him. I'm like, the power of marketing. And then I did get in trouble for being on Facebook during my lecture.
Facebook.
But it's I say it was research, so
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So tell us everything.
Well, even I know I shared this with you before, but I just wanted to share it with the people watching, because looking at this image, this is just a collection of different cartoons, sketches, drawings, but each of them, just by looking at it without even knowing the name of what these companies are and these products, you know what those are just because of their branding and the logo itself. So I think most people will recognize these brands. I know I do pretty easily, but I think
What's the second from the top?
That's Malibu, Mark.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm the target market for that drink. So
Yeah.
yeah, but for example, I'm not sure about that one. I'm sure other people might know that one, but I know Target, Apple, one of the most famous brands of all time.
Massive.
Google, YouTube. I think that just sort of starts the discussion about how powerful branding is.
Yep. And how important it is. It's pretty powerful that within half a second, the brain can identify with every one of those logos. That's from serious repetition.
Yeah. And it's consistency as well, because it's not a thing of like, so for example, Google, even having those 4 colors, the red, the yellow, the blue, and the green, even if you don't see the Google logo, seeing those colors, you're going to think, oh, yeah. And that's like Cadbury, for example. I know I'm going off on tangents. Cadbury, the color purple that they use on their branding, they've copyrighted that. That belongs to them.
No. Any copyrighted colour?
I'm not sure how it works, but I think if another brand came along using that exact color of purple, they'd get in trouble because Cadbury owns that, as that's part of their brand. And the same with the half glass of milk. Like any other brand that tries to copy that even slightly, they can get into a lot of...
And you associate with that. So tell me, people that are in their businesses at the moment, and if anyone's got any questions, throw them at us. People that are in their businesses at the moment, be it small, be it large, what are the things that you see that are just absolutely...
Oh, I think Mark's frozen. Well, I think he's probably going to say the things that are most important. There you go, you're back. I was trying to finish your sentence for you. Sorry. So the thing most important for someone trying to reinvent their brand?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the main thing, as we just said, is consistency and making sure it's all the same across everything, every platform, and knowing what your brand archetype is. That I'm bringing in a bit of marketing theory here, so please excuse me if this is a bit too textbook. But I'll show you this one, and I know I've talked about this before, but this is a good place to start if you're trying to figure out who your brand is. It's figuring out, like, if this was your own, if we're talking about personal brands, for example, I'm very extroverted. I love theater. I love creativity. So just by that alone, I'd probably want to be around here, connection. So like the jester, if I was more comedic, the lover, if I'm into more personal connections with my brand. So as a business, just think of it, your business is a person. What characteristics do you want to portray to customers? And that's how I'd sort of start. And then you can look here and sort of base, like Apple, for example, innovation is their big thing. So they're the creator in the brand archetype scheme.
Yeah. So what are they? I just can't see those. Can we just go around that and read those out? There's creator, love that, yes. Love Apple.
There's What's creator Dove? For Dove is innocent, so that's safety and I think just wholesome, I think is their brand. Google is the sage, so knowledge, experts of what they do, like literally knowledge. They're giving knowledge to everyone. North Face, Explorer, that's sort of self-explanatory. The Outlaw, Harley Davidson, another great example of branding. They are so in tune with their brand. One of my favorite marketing failures was when Harley Davidson tried to release their own perfume. Because if you think perfume, you're going to think over here with like Chanel, like love it, intimacy. But Harley Davidson, you don't want a perfume that just smells like a leather seat on a motorbike. And then we've got Magician for Disney, Hero for Nike, Lover for Chanel, Jester for M&M's, Everyman for Target. So that would probably be Kmart in Australia because this is an American brand. Caregiver, WWF, and Ruler, Rolex. So it sort of gives you a sense, like if you're looking at a more luxury brand, you want to show that you really know what you're talking about, a bit of like chin up. You'd probably want to be looking over here at providing structure, or even in like Google, for example, their whole thing is knowledge and sage if you want to be a bit more spiritual in your branding. But brand archetypes, this wheel is the perfect place to start if you're just trying to begin your brand.
Now, with a brand, can a brand change direction? Are you allowed to, like, can you be one thing and then swap over to another thing and even maybe a third time swap over to another, or is that sort of not done?
I think you can, but it's all about how you do it and the process of it. So I found this image before, which I thought was really interesting. This is Apple's branding over the years. And I think that's
the first one. I've never seen the first one.
Yeah, I was really that one's from 1976. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's real. But even just looking at these ones from over time, I think it really shows just changing trends over time and how Apple's really developed as a brand. So before it was about standing out, but then as they became the famous brand Apple, they're known for the iPhone, the iPod. They literally reinvented what smartphones mean to the world. They could just become like, they didn't have to do anything extravagant with their branding. You look at that and you know immediately who it is and what they are.
It's strong, isn't it? And what's interesting is they went back to 98. They peeled back 15 years and went back to the black on black.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And that's another thing with branding. You have to remember trends do repeat. Even look at fashion trends before, like 80s, for example, and you can see it in this branding. It's all colorful. Then you go to the 2000s where it's a bit more sleek and clean, black and white. And then we're sort of repeating that. So I think there's something to be learned there, that trends do repeat themselves.
That's so cool. So your lesson to people out there that are building brands would be, what would be like the top three that you can give people to take their brand to a new height, to go to a new level?
I think know what you want your main brand message to be. So for Novak, for example, we are very persistent with our message. We never sleep 24/7, 7 days a week. That's a big part of our brand identity. I think if you don't know your brand identity, you don't know your brand. You have to know what you want people to go away with when they leave your office or they see a product that you have. You have to know what do you want them leaving with, what feelings, what emotions.
Okay. And I guess you've sort of got to go back when you're working within a brand, I guess, to your core in a way, and to your core values, which then comes back to your authenticity. I love the We Never Sleep with Novak, because we've always been terrifically hard workers in the industry, in the business, and automatically when you sort of have a bit of a joke about we never sleep, but you sort of think yourself someone who's just going to, head down, bum up for your property. It's interesting. Yeah. So, all right. So takeaways with the brand we've got. Anything else you wanted to add there?
I think just making sure it's consistent. I think I know I said that at the beginning, but like here I've got even examples of, we've got the list, then we've got our tenancy applications. They all look black and white, all the same. We've got our real estate terms guide. Like looking at that, it's all one brand. Like that's all matching. It'd be weird if I brought out a book that was bright orange and went, oh yeah, this is Novak. I think just making sure visually, as well as the messages you're trying to portray, it's all the same. You don't want to be saying, oh, we never sleep, and then we're closed for 4 days because we couldn't be stuffed.
We thought so.
Yeah.
And how does a brand stray away like that? Like, because I know like our brand did, there's been times over the last 20 years where it's like, pull it all back in, guys, rein it all back in, get it all really consistent. How does it stray away a brand?
I think if sometimes that happens when a brand tries to do too much and wants to try too many things at one time. So look at Shapes, for example. They wanted to recreate their brand by introducing new, healthier flavors. And then they lost so many people from their original, target market because they already liked what they were doing. Sorry, my voice is... I get too excited talking about the branding. My voice is going away. But yeah. That's not good branding messaging. No, but I think it's just, making consistent choices and not trying to do too much at once. If you want to take a risk, do it one thing at a time. You don't want to start giving out free motorbikes and then the next week start giving out teddy bears or something to people. I think you got to stick stick in one lane, try it. If it doesn't work, you can steer back rather than a crash.
Yeah, and there was one off air that you mentioned about a brand taking a risk and just stuffing it hard. That's actually a really good idea. Well, I guess with a business and with a brand, if you are going to go out on a limb, take a cross section and do it piece by piece before you do it in full force, because it could be fatal. You see some really strong brands make some serious mistakes, but if they did a small, cross section and trial, then they would have been safe.
Yeah, and that's what market research is.
Yeah. That's it.
Focus groups, and yeah, that's what I'll stop. I'll go on a tangent otherwise.
Well, you're a legend, Pat. Thank you. And for anyone who's just tuned in, we talked about super fresh brands and marketing 101 that you can apply to your own company, business, or even self. I guess people are, you are, I guess people in themselves are a little bit of a brand as well. So hopefully that helps some people out there today.
Yeah, I think about that today when you're interacting with people. What do you want your personal brand to say about you with your actions? As a Wednesday challenge.
It's a Wednesday challenge. All right, thanks heaps. You're a legend.
Good. Thanks, Mark. See ya.
Bye.